Are you feeling frustrated in your journey to right-sized living? Are you struggling to lose weight, facing plateaus, or battling regain? It just might be that lack of sleep is the big bully knocking you off course. Stick around to discover why. Life, there's so much to do. It's hard to squeeze everything into a single day. Work, school, kids, chores, exercise, errands, family, friends, and hopefully some fun time too. It's no wonder an estimated 40.6 million Americans are walking around sleep deprived. It's like the land of the living zombies, man. Ooh. You might be thinking, big deal, Shelly. I don't get the recommended 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night, but I get by just fine. Do you? Really? Here's the deal. If you're skimping on sleep, it's a lot harder to lose or maintain weight. In fact, lack of Z's can lead to packing on the pounds no matter how hard you're trying to eat right and work out. In fact, as sleep deprivation has become more prominent in today's lifestyles, so has obesity. Are the two related? Probably. There are tons of studies out there removing our blinders to the importance of sleep. I mean, get this. One study had dieters cut back on sleep for 2 weeks. Their calories remained constant, but the amount of weight loss from fat dropped by 55%. Another study found that you'll likely indulge in about 300 more calories a day if you're not well rested. Why is this? For one, lack of sleep impacts your hunger and fullness hormones. There are a lot of hormones at play in your body, but the two big linemen on the playing field of sleep deprivation are ghrelin and leptin. Ghrelin is the hormone that says to your brain, feed me, feed me. Leptin does the opposite. It signals to the brain, okay, I'm good. Put that dang fork down. Guess what? When you're lacking sleep, your body produces more ghrelin and reduces leptin. Not good, right? There's a mix that's bound to cause behavior that will make you cringe the next time you get on the scale. A second reason is that sleep deprivation robs you of control. I remember driving home late one night over 20 years ago. I'd been working like a beast and not getting a whole lot of sleep. So one night after work, I decided to go to a seminar. It got out around 10 p.m., but I stayed around another hour to chit-chat with my buddies. Then I got into my car and I began my hour-long journey to get home. I knew I was tired. I kept rolling down the windows and singing along to the radio to keep alert. And if you've heard me sing, it's not a pretty sight. But just about 10 minutes away from home, all of a sudden flashing lights went off behind me and yep, sure enough, the highway patrol was signaling me to pull over. Turns out, my lack of sleep had been impacting my driving way more than I realized, because they had pulled me over for suspected drunk driving. I mean, holy crap. I hadn't been drinking, but I was so tired, my brain and physical abilities were impaired as if I had been. I mean, I was putting people's lives at risk because I was so tired, I was operating at full-blown stupid. Well, fortunately, the cops realized I hadn't been drinking, and they let me go on my way with a little warning that, girl, you need to really get it together. It's not safe to be driving on very little sleep. So, see, lack of sleep actually dulls the activity in the part of your brain that controls decision-making and impulses. It's like you are drunk. The sleep deprivation causes you to lose focus, mental clarity, and the ability to make good decisions. So what do you think happens to your willpower? It's like riding a bike with a leak in the tire. You keep pedaling harder and harder and harder and going slower and slower. Excuses come easier, like, oh, I'll have one more bite. Oh, just this one more time, I'll have the pasta with Alfredo sauce instead of lean protein and veggies. Exercise? Maybe I'll skip just this once. If you're tired all the time, these poor decisions probably happen more and more often. and the downward spiral turns into an out-of-control cyclone. Third, lack of sleep can decrease your metabolism. You know all about metabolism, right? It's essentially your body's process of converting food into energy, and it can impact your weight. There's actually a term, metabolically groggy, which refers to the impact of sleep on your metabolism. When your body lacks sufficient sleep, it cannot properly process insulin, meaning sugars and starches in your body are not properly converted into energy, and instead they're stored as fat. 4, lack of sleep activates your brain's reward center. Did you know your brain has a reward center? Some call it the pleasure center, and let's face it, food makes us feel good while we eat it. Yeah, you may feel like crap 10 or 20 minutes later, but that immediate food high can be really hard to resist. When you're not getting enough sleep, it's like you're stepping on the accelerator to your reward center. In creep the cravings. Are you having a eureka moment about now? I know I did when I learned about this connection. It made me think back to every all-nighter I ever pulled in college cramming for exams. The next morning, I'd always get a sausage biscuit from McDonald's. Okay, so it was more like 2 sausage biscuits plus hash browns. I thought I deserved a reward for studying all night long. 5, lack of sleep increases cravings for unhealthy food. It's bad enough that sleep deprivation can make you want to eat more and exercise less, but it gets even worse. It increases your cravings for all the stuff you shouldn't be eating if you want to live life in a right-sized body. Study after study found that insufficient sleep leads to cravings for fats and carbs, and I'm not talking the good ones. Next time you miss out on sleep, think about what types of foods you start craving. Is it the chips and cookies? And 6, not enough sleep leads to late night snacking. I'll be the first to admit that one of my biggest struggles is late night snacking. Well, as I've been learning more and more about the correlation between sleep and weight, it's becoming pretty obvious why. There was a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition that reported late night snacking increased when people skimp on sleep. And with all the factors we just touched on, chances are that late night snacking isn't a piece of grilled chicken or a celery stick, right? Lack of sleep wages war on your hormones, control, and metabolism while amping up your reward center, cravings, and late night snacking. Here's the deal. It's not that sleep makes you skinny, but lack of sleep is going to wreak all types of havoc on your ability to lose weight or maintain your weight. How much sleep is enough? Well, it's different for everyone, but the National Sleep Foundation recommends 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night for an adult. Your sweet spot should be somewhere in that range. If you're not hitting it, try going to sleep 15 minutes or a half hour earlier each week and ease into it until you hit your rhythm. Do this, and chances are you'll have an easier time sticking to your eating and fitness plans. Until next time, live with purpose, live with courage, and live with delight.